All righty, folks, it is Thursday night. It is Hunting the Rut Hotline. Folks, my name is Don Bell. Hey, we're going to talk about what you got on your mind tonight. It is Thursday night, 7 o'clock Central Standard Time. Hey, folks, listen, get on the phone. Can you believe it? It's July 30th, right, guys? 30th or 31st, which is the 30th. Half of the year is gone. Tomorrow's August. We got a bunch of people here in Alabama heading north already on Thursday, and you ask why? Because they're going up to get plots ready. They're going to start moving tree stands. Folks, it's on. It's not only here in the southeast, it's all over the country. Hunters, all 14 million now, is kind of thinking and heading toward hunting season. It's Hunting the Rut Hotline. You got questions, we're going to have some answers. Stay tuned when we come back. We're going to talk to a bunch of folks around the country and try to get to some of these voicemails. Be right back. Stay tuned.
Introducing Scent Defense, a revolutionary 3-in-1 formula from Top Secret. Infused with antimicrobial silver copper synergy technology to attack odor before it starts. Fortified with NeuroX to attack and repel insects instantly. Scent Defense is specifically formulated to attract deer while simultaneously destroying odor. Scent Defense, the 3-in-1 formula for success.
Folks, it's July the 30th, halfway through the year. It is Thursday night. We're glad you're here, and get on the phone, call your friends, and tell them, hey guys, you know, everybody's looking toward the fall. This is a great opportunity for people to call in, ask questions, call your friends, tell them, email them. Hey, you can call in, you can Facebook, you can Skype in, you can just about any way you want to get into us, you can get into us, and we'll answer your questions live on the air. Folks, one of the things we want to remind everyone is it is that time of year. Actually, last week started, we do, and I think we've told you before on the show, we do more seminars, hunting seminars, than anyone in the industry. I think they're going to show you up on the screen here the upcoming seminars where they are. You'll be able to see that, and also I think you'll be able to see it on the map. You look for the city and a town near you. They're going to be there August and September and October. Literally, we're all over the country. Last Friday night, I was up in where was I last? I was in Denver, Pennsylvania. Man, unbelievable. Weaver's store is a huge store. I mean, now, folks, when I tell you it's big, it's big. Had a great turnout, just a good seminar. And it's about hunting the rut. Learn how to hunt pre, peak, and post, how to use scents and lures, grunting, rattling, hunting, scrape, secondary, primary, why it works, why it don't work, and look, it's free. So look on that screen right there and see a town that's near you. Make plans to attend. We're going to be somewhere near you in the next 90 days, so all over the country, literally from Louisiana to the Canadian line, from New York, Pennsylvania, all the way to Minnesota. So we're going to be there. Check it out on the screen. And look, if you're thinking, you look on there and you go, Dad, blame it, Don ain't coming anywhere near me. All you got to do, if you look on you don't, or what you can do is you can call 1-800, guys, is that number going to be on the screen? You want me to just read it out? Guys, you can call 1-888-462-3536, extension 210, and you can talk to Shelby, and Shelby will be glad to get in contact with a dealer near you and let them know what it takes for us to come in and do a seminar. It's free. We don't charge the dealer, but they're extremely popular, and we can tell the dealer how to do that now. In fact, we're already booking seminars for 2016, believe it or not. Very popular seminars. Hunting the Rut. Learn how to hunt the 3 periods of the rut. So look, check it out. We'll throw it back up on the screen. I believe we've already got a first caller for us tonight. I believe yes, we do. All right, hang tight. All right, you got Don Bell. Who we got?
Hey, it's Kevin Stewart.
Big Kevin. Well, how are you doing out there tonight?
Man, we're doing good.
Good. Kevin, now you're with, you Sand Mountain Pond up in Boaz.
Yes, I'm out in Pond and Outdoors.
Now, folks, we want to remind everybody, if you just looked at that up on the screen there, we're actually going to be up in Boaz in the 14th, which is 2 weeks from last Friday. So not this Friday, but the following Friday, about 2 weeks, we'll be up there, and we're going to do one of these Hunting the Rut seminars. And Kevin, it's a great seminar. I mean, you're going to be the, I think, Shelby, they're the second one of the year. I believe so. So, man, we're looking forward to come up there. Are you from Boaz originally?
Yeah, well, I'm actually from State Crossroads, just about 15 minutes southwest of Boaz.
Yeah. Well, you know where Albertville is.
Yes, sir. For
I can tell you a story. First Baptist Church, Albertville. Big church in Albertville.
Oh,
There.
yeah.
Years ago, we had a paint company, and I'm talking about out of high school, and we painted First Baptist Albertville. Had a big addition on it. Did I tell you, Kevin, when I met you at the show, I got a twin brother?
Oh, yeah, I believe you did mention that.
Yeah, dog. And he painted Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, Santa Claus, and all the reindeer in a hall, life size, inside that church. We never got that off of that fresh sheetrock wall. As First Baptist Albertville. And look, if we want them to know about that, we'll tell them. Well, look, we're glad you called tonight. We're excited about coming up here in a couple weeks, and man, I hope you guys tell everybody, and everybody listening needs to show up.
Yeah, we've tried. We've handed out lots of flyers the last 2 weeks about the seminar coming up, and everyone seems to be really excited about it. I think really in our area, your product's just kind of starting to catch some momentum.
There you go.
Some people are aware, and others not so much, but they're very interested, especially with success you had before, and those kind of things. And so most of the guys that I've mentioned it to, they're actual deer hunters. They're really excited about being there. And
I tell you,
we'll have drinks and hot dogs and refreshments and stuff like that. For everybody. So
free food, man, you can't beat that. And look,
you can't beat it.
I want to remind all the hunters, guys, listen, this is a great time to come. And Kevin, I tell you, of course, telling all the hunters out there is listening to this, man, top secret, we've got 21,537 commercials running. That's 2.5 an hour on between the Outdoor Channel, Sportsman's Channel, Pursuit, and Wild TV. So there's a lot of people watching and seeing it. And guys, come early to get a good seat. And you want to come early to see what all Kevin and them has in this store. It's a great store, and you want to come early to browse. You'll find out that they got a bunch of stuff there, and you're going to want to bring your friends, let them know where the location is too. So seminars at 7 o'clock. So really, what time do you normally close, Kevin?
Well, our typical hours are 9 to 6 Monday through Friday, and 9 to 4 on Saturday. But our store will be open all evening until we finish with the seminar. And we have. We have your full line of product there, and then we have a few other hunting things and a lot of guns, and we also have jewelry. So if you can talk your wife into coming with you, we got air conditioning inside the store, and we'll have jewelry and for them to look at, and there's a lot of great eating places if they just want to drop you off. And
that's right.
And coming from out of town,
And guys, listen to what Kevin's telling you, because if it's normally at 6, because you think, well, time I get off from work and stuff, they're already closed. But here's an opportunity. You get off from work, you can come straight from work there. You can get something to eat or go by and pick Mama up, bring Mama. And listen, ladies get a big kick out of this seminar, Kevin, because it's, look, we're from South Alabama. We're not real high tech, but we do use a lot of analogies, and we do the rut in a story, and even the ladies get a kick out of it. And it's, you learn a lot. We've been doing this thing for nearly 30 years, and it is a real good how-to. It's not a high-tech seminar. It's simply understanding a whitetail here in Alabama. We're going to talk about hunting the rut in the Boaz area between pre-peak and post-rut. We'll start talking about what deer are doing next Friday night, that night right there, and you start watching the heads shake their heads saying, yep, I've seen deer do that already. And then we'll take them all the way through.
I watched the show last week, and I seen we were talking about, kind of the ebbs and flows of the rut here in the South.
That's right.
And that's very true in this area. In Boaz, I have a house here in Boaz, and I actually killed a mouse deer. It's like a 144.
Well, Lord.
Right there in Boaz, and it was, I seen it with a group of bucks on December 22nd, and by late January, he was all alone, not chasing anything, just feeding on some planted corn when I killed him. And but just down the road, literally down here in Blount County, where I have another where I grew up, on a farm I grew up on. It would be like totally different, even 10 miles away. So
yeah, and
I'd be interested. A lot of people have been talking about that, and I tell them, you're very familiar with Alabama and that they're living on the Alabama-Florida line and all those things, and so you got a really good feel for it, and from the stuff I've watched and heard from you. So
yeah, well,
there seems to be a good interest in our area, So we're looking forward to it.
The seminar, I've lived in Wilcox County, Alabama. Yeah, can you still hear me? Kevin, you still with us?
I don't know if you can hear me, but I can hear you guys.
Yeah, we can hear you. Know what that is?
I may try back in later if you can still hear me. I'm sorry, I'm not getting anything on this end.
No problem at all. I'll keep talking to you. Guys, what Kevin was just talking about is, yes, I've lived in Wilcox County and hunted in Wilcox County all our life. Of course, that's, below Montgomery, 30 miles south of Selma. So absolutely, we understand Alabama. And what's neat about the seminar is all about your question. The question that we're live, we don't know what your questions are, but we'll talk about it and we'll tell the story in a chronological order between what's happening 2 weeks tomorrow. As we come in to with Kevin there, they'll be able to ask questions. We'll talk about what deer are doing next 2 weeks from now on Friday night. Then we'll go all the way through pre-peak and post-rut, saying, all right, here's what deer are doing, here's why they do it, here's how they hunt, scrape, secondary, primary. Real good, common sense approach. People just are amazed. They enjoy the seminar. We want you to plan to come. Don't cost a thing. Come early, get you something, bring mama with you. So I believe Kevin's back on the phone. All right. I think I lost him. All right, big Kevin, you can try again, dog. There we are. Nope, lost Kevin again. All right, but hey, Kevin, you can keep trying. But guys, Kevin, we'll see you the 14th, Friday, 2 weeks from now. And guys, everybody make plans to come, and we'll have a good time if you ask any kind of questions you want. Hunting the Rut seminar free. We'll see you there at the pond in 2 weeks. Alrighty, guys, let's see here. Let's take a quick commercial break, and when we come back, we'll take another caller. Be right back.
Rise and shine. It's time to hunt. Repel and kill the bugs that bug you most with the all-natural 100% deep-free BioShield.
When we come out of the call, all right, folks, we're back. Kevin, all right, we got Kevin back on the phone. FYI, Kevin, we got a storm happening down here in the Pensacola area. It's coming through. That may be on our end and not yours.
Hey, babe.
But look, guys, make plans to come early, see everything, bring mama with you. You ain't got to eat supper, we got food. A lot for mama to look at, and if mama loves to hunt, she'll get a kick out of this seminar. Plenty of stuff to look at. Come early, make sure you get a good seat, and see everything they have there at the store. Kevin, did you have any particular question?
Well, I do got one particular question.
All right, put it on me.
Here's my issue at my family farm where I hunt. I'm just a small plot, 40 acres. All right. Well, the way that my property's set up, it's like that it's connected with, say a larger 400 or 500 acre wooded area, and the way that I have to come in each time is from like the northwest side.
Okay.
Where the wind typically comes from.
That's right.
So my biggest struggle here is, and I have a 7-year-old, a 5-year-old, and a 4-year-old that I take with me occasionally because I was having this shooting house out here.
That's right.
Down on the edge of one of my fields. But my major trouble is my property is kind of a primary bedding area, all right? But I'm having to come into it from, like, say, the windy side, the upwind side, almost constantly if I take my children especially. Which is, I'm once what I like to do. So, but then if you take them, you want them to see some deer. So, I guess I got a geographical issue that I really don't know what else to try to do other than say cover my scent completely or.
Well, yeah.
It's hard to do when you're taking small children. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Are you driving in or walking in?
I'm walking in.
All right. Are you hunting primarily on the weekends, or how often in between hunting?
Well, actually, typically, I've taught ag for 14 years at Boaz High School out here, and I recently just purchased this business, but usually I can get home in the evenings in time to, just get my stuff on and walk out there a couple evenings out of the week.
Any other people hunting the property?
No, I got some neighbors on the backside, though. I do have some neighbors on the backside. And the majority of the agricultural, like the corn and corn and soybeans. They're planted on the neighbor's property, like on through those woods in another field, and I get cotton planted at my place most of the time.
Are you walking through fields, or are you walking to a road, or you?
Yeah, I'm typically walking around the edge of a wood line.
All right. I mean, are you walking like a clear cut or a field on the edge of the
cotton field? Cotton field.
Cut over cotton.
Yep. Cotton been thick. Yep.
Yep. All right. So, how deep into how far from the truck to where you're going? To where I'm assuming you're shooting a green field. You're in a shooting house, right?
Yeah, in a shooting house, kind of overlooking. I planted me a little green field in the bottom of the cotton field, and I got me a little lane cut through the woods where I used to have a fence row. But I got, just the typical throw and grow stuff.
All right.
But I'm just saying 90% of the time those deer are going to have to come from the downwind side of me, the way that it's set up. It's just the way that my property is. I don't have the...
Yeah, the wind's from behind your back.
The what?
The wind's behind your back.
Yeah,
so they're smelling you coming in.
Yeah, most of the time.
Right, but now you're not actually walking through the bedding area. Your scent's going into the bedding area.
Correct. Yeah, my scent's having to drift into where they are to come, if they're coming my way.
Yeah, well, let me tell you something what you can do with that. I mean, obviously, and the kids, how old are they?
7, 5, and 4 years old.
All right. Here's the way I do that. Literally, when Derek was little, Derek's 31 now. When Derek was little, he was just hardly could walk, and I talked to him right now this weekend. And it could be 2 days later, just telling him, getting him ready psychologically. We're going hunting, and then eventually I take him outside and just set him up in a tree stand. Literally, you could see the house. To him, we were hunting. We weren't hunting. I camoed him up. Just kind of get him used to the routine. But let him know, okay, we're going to kill our odor. Show them, they're washing their clothes. You're talking about with our product, Scent Defense, and then you're talking through the process. All right, so they're understanding it. You spray it on them, or let them spray it on themselves, on their feet, explaining it to them. Not only are you educating them, but you're helping yourself. You can take our foam, and you can take and give one foam. And, they can, early season, you want to use buck urine. And just as they walk along, just let them about every 15, 20 yards foam it on the ground. Now, what you're going to do, now I wouldn't do that from the truck. I don't know how far from the truck to the stand. In other words, how far are you going?
We're down in there 400 or 500 yards from the house. I mean, I'm leaving the house.
Oh, okay. Well, all right. So you're how far before you hit the timberline?
Say, it's probably 150 yards.
Okay, all right, that's great. So you're right. Once I hit that timber line, I just let one of them or both of them, give them a little bottle of that, and just let them every now and then. All right, you can give them a hand motion. I want you to foam some, and just let them foam it on the ground. And keep walking. And what's going to happen is you've killed your human odor, and what they're going to be smelling the whole time you're walking in is another buck. They're going to be smelling that buck here.
I honestly have not thought about that.
Yeah, and then when you get in, grunt. Now, grunting is an infringement, and in the seminar, and it's a great question, and there's practical answers to it, and you need to be using buck urine every day of the year, and it's going to start good, and it's going to get better. Yeah, listen, when we get in a seminar, you'll see what I'm talking about, man. It's an eye-opener, because most people think it's estrus. Estrus is great. It's death during the peak of the rut, but 90% of the year, actually about 98% of the year, a buck's primarily concerned with other bucks. The only time he's concerned with a doe really is when she's standing or coming into estrus. So early rut do that. Now once he starts chasing does, you can give one of the boys a buck foam and the other one estrus, and let the one do buck, walk 15, 20 yards, one do estrus, buck, estrus, alternate. Now you got a buck chasing a doe. So when you grunt, and when one of them gets in the tree, there's three of them, say, all right, we're going to let one of you grunt, in the shooting house, then you got a buck chasing a doe, which is what grunting says. Grunting is an infringement, because you're telling another buck that a buck's tending a doe. Whose doe? His doe. Yeah. So you give one of them buck, one of them estrus, and let the oldest one get up in the tree, in the shooting house, and let him grunt. All now what's blowing in is the buck urine's going into the bedding area, and he smells that that buck moving, because he can smell that urine coming around. It's not just a stagnant scent, because it's now walking. So especially, and you're right, predominantly northwest in that time of year. Yeah. But yeah, great question. And
so that was it, and that mixed with the Scent Defense, like I said, just wash the clothes in it and do the spray.
talk them.
I'm also learning about your product as we go too.
Well,
but I was just impressed by talking to you and did a little research that night. And plus, when I don't know if you remember this, but my wife, she's the ultimate critic, and you give her some of that.
That's right. She do
defense
for her hair. Yeah, I was telling
for the shampoo.
Yeah.
She was like overwhelmingly impressed on how like moist her skin was.
That's right.
The smell was pleasant to her and all that. She said it was like kind of like putting on lotion, but in the shower.
I know it. Listen, it is a great product, and more than that, deer love it. They come in with their tongue out,
that
licking.
doesn't deter any deer either.
Oh no! Our scent defense not only kills odor, it repels ticks, mosquitoes, any kind of biting insect. Plus, it attracts the deer. Well, look, we look forward to coming up there Friday week, 2 weeks, and I'll get there early. And everybody come early, and I'll be glad to meet you and talk to you. And the seminar's 1 hour. Come early, get you something to eat, and bring Mama with you.
All right, we look forward to it.
All right, man. Thank you, Kevin, for calling. Thank you, sir.
You too.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All righty. Another telephone call. All right, you got Don Bell. Who we got?
Jared Forrest.
Big Jared. Big Jared, where are you from?
Sardis, Alabama.
What Alabama? Part of Alabama?
Sardis.
Well, how far is that from? Aren't you up near Boaz?
Yes, sir. We're right beside Boaz.
All righty. Well, north, south, east. Are you between Boaz and Albertville?
We're between Boaz and Gadsden.
All right, you're on the west side or east side.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, man. Listen, we were just talking about a few minutes ago about Guntersville Lake. That's a big old lake. And well, look, you coming to the seminar? We're gonna be up there in 2 weeks.
Yes, sir. At Semi Farm.
Yep. We're gonna be there 2 weeks. Friday night, I believe it is, Shelby, isn't it? 2 weeks from last Friday night, not this Friday night, but the following Friday night. And
Yep.
It's a real good seminar, hunting the rut. Learn how to hunt the 3 periods of the rut, pre-peak and post-rut. You'll be able to ask any kind of questions, and we'll take you systematic through the year. You got any kind of question for us tonight?
Yeah, I got a few. We can cover some of them at the seminar, but it's about the pre-rut.
Okay.
It's going when the pre-rut's starting and the bucks are starting to lay down the scrapes and rubs and all that good stuff. What's one of your best scents and best lure scents for that time of the year, and techniques on doing that?
What you want to do? Yep. First of all, it's a good question, and it's an easy answer. You want to use buck urine. And boy, we'll really go through this in the seminar. In fact, what we do in the seminar in 2 weeks in Boaz, what we will do, we will say, okay, guys, right now tonight, bucks are running together. They're in bachelor groups, just like they are today. And so when you put you could put buck urine out today in Boaz. Tomorrow morning, you could put buck urine out, and any buck where you hunt will come to it. Little buck, big buck. They're not coming to fight. They're just seeing who the new kid on the block is, because they're still in bachelor groups. Now, if you the closer it gets to the peak of the rut, the more aggressive that buck's coming to that buck urine. So it starts out good and it gets better. You literally use buck urine every day of the season. So the opening day of bow season, you bow hunt?
Yes, sir, I bow hunt.
Opening day of bow season, you use buck urine. Every time you go in the woods this year, you use buck urine. Do you use a grunt call?
Yes, sir, I do.
Absolutely. Grunt call, all a grunt and rattling does is puts the deer downwind. Deer has ears, eyes, nose. When you pour buck urine out, opening day of bow season, and another buck smells it, first of all, he hears a buck grunting. That says a buck's tending a doe. So what a buck's going to do, he's going to go downwind. And the reason he goes downwind is because you can whip his ears with rattling or grunting. You can whip his eyes with a decoy, but that nose keeps his butt alive. So when he goes downwind, he's wanting to smell what he's hearing. Therefore, he needs to, what he's wanting to smell is a buck, because that's what you told him. And so buck urine starts good and it gets better, more aggressive toward the peak of the rut. And we'll cover all of that in the seminar. Are you from Alabama originally?
Yes, sir. I'm from here. I was born in Birmingham.
Okay. Well,
we moved up here and all that, but I hunt in Bullitt County.
Okay. Well, good county. Good.
Yeah, we got 1,800 acres down there, and I'm sure you know if you've hunted there, we hardly ever see the peak of the rut.
Yeah. Well, in Alabama, most people tell you the peak of the rut. A lot of people come in from out of state down here the last week in January. Well, literally, of course, in the southern zone, in the past year or two, they've allowed you to hunt to February the 15th. And really, truly, the peak of the rut here is, if there is a true peak, it's probably the first, second week in February. But can you guys hunt in February up there? Or you're north of the zone?
No, we're in the south zone, and we got to hunt it this last year, and it didn't help us not one bit. We had a few bucks killed, but they still wasn't chasing. They were still just rubbing and checking scrape lines and one thing another.
Well, in the seminar,
January.
Well, let me tell you, in the seminar, we'll address how to, if you got bucks hitting scrapes like that, or better yet, they're tearing it up at night, in December in Alabama, how you get that December lull. We'll talk about that. And we'll talk about especially where bucks went nocturnal on you and how to get him. You can't hardly rattle him out, you can't hardly grunt his butt out, but there's a way to do that, and it entails buck urine. And we'll explain that. And you'll be able to ask questions, but more importantly, and this is and tell everybody about this call, because man, this seminar is free. It's a great opportunity for you guys to come and ask all kind of questions. It is, in fact, we will systematically talk about what deer are doing. It's like when you were growing up in the Bible Belt like I did, you'd go to Sunday school, and one Sunday you'd be in New Testament, next Sunday you'd be in Old Testament, new, old, new, old. And I used to think as a kid, hey, why don't you stay in the New Testament and teach me this story chronologically where I can remember it? Well, that's what we're going to be doing. We're going to talk about we're going to start off by what deer are doing in 2 weeks in the counties you hunt in. Then we're going to systematically take you all the way through the hunting season, pre, peak, post, secondary, primary scrapes, grunting, rattling, why it works, why it don't work, and you'll be able to ask questions as we go along. So it's not a lecture. It is very much kind of like what we're talking about right here.
Yeah.
So
one more
sure.
Quick question. But like when you're blind calling, when if you get in the woods and there's no buck in the area, or there's no buck that you know of in the area.
Right.
Blind calling, I've always heard growing up that the sequence of 3 doe bleats and 6 falling, 6 buck grunts. What do you think about that?
Yeah, now you've asked me, and I'm just going to give you my unbiased opinion. All right, and I don't know, you probably don't know this, but I started Code Blue. Well, when I sold Code Blue to Pradco, of course, David Knight and Harold, and Jim Strelick, who's a good friend of mine, and we've done seminars all over the country, and 30, 40 years with Knight and Hale. They used to just cringe when we'd be doing seminars together, and they'd ask me a question like that, because look, there's no certain sequence. I mean, think about that. When you're grunting, when you hear a buck, there's 2 things that happens when a buck's grunting a doe. It's either here it is. Let me get a grunt. You'll hear this in the woods. You'll hear a elongated grunt. Or you sometimes hear a short, quick grunt. And if you were to go Don and hold it, just if you, let me go, watch. If I say Don, or if I were to say Don and jump up and down, it's going to go, or go to walking, my Don's going to go Don, because I'm moving. Elongated, that buck is standing there almost like a bull, like the doe. You know how sometimes a doe will go around and the buck will stand there and watch her, but he's grunting her? But if you hear the little short one, more times than not, that buck's moving. And so it tells you, but we overthink it and we try to put all these sequence in it, and what more times than not, what they're trying to do is sell you a grunt call.
Yeah.
And in the seminar, we'll talk about that, and we'll show that, and see if it don't just make sense. This seminar is not a high-tech seminar. My father had a 5th grade education. We grew up killing deer to put in the freezer. And so it's all about understanding how to kill that deer. That deer has ears, eyes, and nose. It's the same deer that we're going to talk about next week. In 2 weeks, I just left Denver, Pennsylvania Friday night. That same deer in Pennsylvania has ears, eyes, and nose. The only difference is topography and pressure. Their topography is different than ours down here where you live, and God knows they got more pressure because they got 1,000,001 hunters. We ain't got but 200, so big difference, but good questions, and we'll systematically take those questions in this seminar live all the way through, and you'll be able to ask questions, and we'll do it in a chronological order. Well, look, we appreciate you calling in, and tell all your friends, get them up and load them up in the back of the truck and bring their butt up there to the seminar in 2 weeks.
I heard that, and all the people that's like listening, and Utah, everybody, whatever, and everybody by Sand Mountain Pond or whoever's listening, and they just swing by Sand Mountain Pond. Great people.
Yes, sir. It's Sound Mountain Pond, and that's where we're going to be in 2 weeks. And listen, Kevin just said they're going to have hot dogs and something to eat, so bring Mama early. They even got some jewelry up there for Mama to buy.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, tell everybody, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.
Sounds good.
All right, thank you, sir. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, folks, we'll be right back.
Rise and shine. It's time to hunt.
Repel and kill the bugs that bug you most with the all-natural 100% deep-free BioShield.
You've waited your whole life for this moment. Don't spoil your opportunity because of poor preparation. Keep your optics clean and fog-free for a clear shot every time. Fog Zero.
Alrighty, folks, we're back, and hey, I just got to thinking about that during the commercial break. First of all, hey, you see that stuff we're showing you on the commercial right there, that BioShield? That's some good junk. Hey, if you don't want those bugs and those ticks and those red bugs to eat your butt up, get you some BioShield right there, and that'll stop that junk. Couple of quick things is, well, let's see. All right, we already got us another caller here. All right, let's see who we got. All righty, you got Don Bell. Who are we talking to?
Eric Seals from Boaz. How you doing?
Well, doggone it, Eric. Are you from Boaz? We're gonna have a Boaz night tonight. You can tell we're coming up here in 2 weeks.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
Are you from there originally?
Yes, sir.
All righty.
Looking forward to seeing you guys out of Sand Mountain Pond.
Yep. I want to tell you, it's amazing. Everybody in that part of the world knows Sand Mountain Pond. And I didn't realize a few minutes ago, Kevin called in and he said they're going to have a bunch of food for you. So bring Mama, load the kids up, put the dog out, put the cat out, and come on.
Yeah. We all know how to eat here on Sand Mountain.
That's right. You look like the Flintstones at the end of the Flintstone the cartoon. Put the saber-tooth tiger out and get in, load the truck up, and come on. Well, look,
Yes,
what kind of question you got for us tonight?
My question is about all the liberal doe days we have here in Alabama. One of the reasons they give when they started doing all these doe days back in about the mid-'90s, early to mid-'90s, was that we would see a more defined rut and a better rut. And
Yeah.
Myself and everyone that I talk to don't see it that way. We think there's just all we've done is deplete our deer herd, and we don't really see a better rut.
Well,
What's your opinion on that?
Man, you're talking about something that's as controversial as you can possibly get. You know, the older guys don't want to shoot the does, the young guys think you should, and that's going to vary from county to county, club to club, and in the same county. Now, you know, the concept of being able to thin the herd, the doe herd, to be able to have a more pronounced rut, well, you know, what they're talking about that is buck-doe ratio. But one of the things that we're going to, and you'll remember this, you reach up there and pull your ear, because I can't reach it, you'll know I told you this. Most people misunderstand the word rut and the word estrus. And that's the first thing we'll start that seminar off with. I've been doing this for 30 years. I started off the same way because most people think the rut is when a buck's chasing a doe, which is probably what you're talking about. And that's not the rut. That's the peak of the rut. The rut's broken into 3 periods, pre, peak, and post. Now, when you see a buck chasing a doe, by any way, have you ever seen a buck live or video a buck chasing a doe?
Oh, yes.
All right. Now, tomorrow morning at work, and I know a bunch of people up there where you work deer hunt, you ask them this, and you come to me in a seminar. Now, you remind me, I asked you to do this. Tomorrow, you ask 10 people, and I'd be willing to bet you conservatively 8 out of 10 will tell you that when you see a buck chasing a doe, you say, hey, Zach, Eric, you see a buck chasing a doe, and I say, hey, Eric, look at that doe. That doe's in what?
In rut.
In rut, or she's in what? She's in estrus. Most people are going to tell you that. Yeah, and listen to me, she is not. I know it. And listen, when you wait till I say that in a seminar, you'll be able to hear a pin drop. Like they'll think, my God, they brought a nut in here. When you see a buck chasing a doe, most hunters, out of the 14 million deer hunters, thinks that doe is in estrus. She's not. Think about it. That's right. Why do you think she's running?
Yeah.
There's a distinction between coming in and being in. So the reason she's running is she don't want to be fooled with. She's coming in, you know, she's irritated with it too. He senses she's coming in, so she's just running. But the moment that doe comes into estrus, the word estrus means an animal will stand. Deer, dog, cat, giraffe, elephant, makes no difference. Once an animal is in full estrus, she will stand. Therefore, because she'll stand to a little buck or a big buck. Now you understand why they call it the peak of the rut.
Yeah.
See? And the peak is where the majority of the does are standing on the piece of property you hunt. There is a time in which the majority of the does on the piece of property you hunt, Eric, there is a time in which the majority of the does are standing. That doesn't mean you always see, most people judge it on the number of deer they see running. And that in fact does vary, and it ebbs and flows in Alabama. If you want to kill a buck anywhere in the Midwest, most anywhere in the Midwest, you want to hunt the Midwest typically the 7th through the 15th of November.
Yeah, I go up to Ohio and bow hunt.
What?
And I like to go in the tree rut myself.
Yep. Now you're in a fine state. What county are you hunting in?
Southern Ohio.
Are you in Hocking County?
No, but I'm not too far away.
Oh, dog, you're in a good part of the world. Now, you get up there just south of Columbus in there.
Yeah.
You got a lot of people from Pennsylvania coming down into Ohio because they're trying to get in there where they got bucks, and there is some fine bucks coming out of Southern Ohio. But having said that, you know, you have more of a pronounced rut there than we do here in Alabama. There, it's very pronounced.
I hunt in Illinois too, and I've seen it. I've actually seen a better rut in Illinois than I have in Ohio.
That's right. Very pronounced. 7th to the 10th, it happens and it's over with. The further south you come, it's more elongated. It ebbs and flows.
Yeah.
And we'll discuss all that in the seminar very specifically, because what we'll do is we'll start talking about what deer are doing in 2 weeks. Hey guys, tonight, Friday night, right here in Boaz, here's what bucks are doing. And then we'll say, how many people's already seen deer do this? You'll see hands go up. So, okay. Then we're going to walk you all the way through to the end of hunting season, talking about hunting in your area, not up in somewhere else, but we're going to talk about where you hunt. Here's what bucks are doing pre-peak and post-rut. Here's how do you use scent. Here's why it works. Here's why it don't work. Sometimes it don't. Why? If I'm gonna grunt and rattle, which scent do I use? When do I use it? Do I grunt first or rattle first? We'll cover all that. So it's a real good how-to, common sense. It's not a high-tech seminar. I don't know, I can't remember if I was telling you or the caller before. My father had a 5th grade education, and I'm like you. You know, somebody in Pennsylvania asked me the other night, said, well, Don, how many deer have you killed? Dude, I have no idea. And he looked at me like, what? I said, I grew up in Alabama. I mean, do you know how many deer you killed in your life?
No, sir.
No, sir. They think that's crazy. But we grew up and blessed to live in a state where you used to kill 146 deer a year.
Oh, you go up north and tell those guys that, they're like,
their head spins, looks like The Exorcist, because they can kill 2 bucks and have to go home. You know, and so.
Do you think that we'll ever go to a serious tagging system here?
No, I think what'll happen, they'll probably reduce it, from the number of bucks that you can kill to even lower. And what that's going to happen, now, forget the buck-doe ratio. When you start letting these bucks like us get older, they're going to get bigger. And so when you start taking out less bucks, we're used to kill a buck and doe a day. And now what? In Alabama, it's how many bucks can you kill?
Supposed to be 3, but there's probably more guys not going by that than you do.
Well, and the key word there, and I kid people about this, there's a lot of people in Alabama ain't got that email yet that we can't still kill a buck and doe a day, have they? And it's going to vary from, hunting club to hunting club, management to management. But get back to your answer real quick is, it has more to do with taking the does out. They're thinking buck-doe ratio. But the rut has more to do with the buck than it does with the doe. Yeah. And we'll talk about that next week or 2 weeks. Okay. Well, look, man, we appreciate you calling in. Tell everybody, bring mama. You're going to have food. It's free. Tell her now, man. You're going to take her out on the town. You're going to wine and dine her. She just don't know we're going to Sound Mountain Pond and get a hot dog and a Coke and bring the babies. Shop around.
Well, hey, that'd be real good because I know I've cooked on that grill before.
All right, dog. Well, I'm coming. I'll be hungry when I get there because it's about a 3-hour, 4-hour drive for me. So we look forward to it, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks. And tell all your friends to come early, and we look forward to seeing you.
All right, I appreciate it.
All right, Eric. Thanks so much, man. Thanks for calling. All right, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, folks. Well, hey, let's go and take a commercial break, and we'll be right back. Busy night tonight. We'll be right back.
Rise and shine. It's time to hunt.
Repel and kill the bugs that bug you most with the all-natural 100% deep-free BioShield.
You've waited your whole life for this moment. Don't spoil your opportunity because of poor preparation. Keep your optics clean and fog-free for a clear shot every time. Fog Zero.
Alrighty, folks, as you can tell, we got people calling in from Boaz, Alabama. We're going to be up here in a couple of weeks, and that's what it's all about. Look on your site there. You'll be able to screen. You'll be able to see the different dates when we're coming in to a town near you. And if we're not, you can always call Shelby, and she'll be able to talk to your dealer, tell your dealer to call us, and we can certainly line them up a seminar to come. It's no cost to the dealer, and we're already booking for 2016, so don't just think it's just now. We can go ahead and get you booked to your dealer in an area near you. So make plans, and I believe we got us another caller coming through. That's what the guy in the back says. We got a caller. All right, you got Don Bell. Who we talking to?
Aaron O'Neill.
Big Aaron. How you doing up there?
Hey, I'm good.
Hey, is it still muggy up there in Michigan?
Man, yes it is.
Man,
yes it is.
It's bad, ain't it? That's good grammar.
It's unbelievable. It's so much. You can stand there and just sweat.
Yep. I just come out of Pennsylvania Friday night I was up in Denver, Pennsylvania. It was kind of the southeastern part of the state, and boy, mercy, it was hot. You know.
Unbelievable.
But it still wasn't as muggy as where I come from down here. So you know, it's all. You can walk out the car and you change underwear.
Yes, right. That's right.
That's right. People don't believe that. Well, look, man, we're glad you called back in tonight. What kind of question you got?
No, I got two questions. The first question is about trail cameras.
Okay.
I mean, you know, when should you put them out? And what if you got a food plot? Should you aim them at the food plot, or should you aim them at the trail coming out of the food plot? I mean, where's a good spot to put your camera so you can get the best shot?
Well, to begin with, most people use cameras to kind of see what deer's there, not necessarily where they're coming and going, but kind of taking an inventory of the deer they got. Bucks, do they see the same buck, that kind of stuff. And where a camera's great, it's not only preseason, but where it's really effective, and a lot of people forget about this, is post-rut, after season ends. Because what that's going to tell you is what bucks survived. So that means you've already got, if you got a good buck and you didn't kill him and you wondered if somebody else killed him, you don't know, well, you look at, you run them cameras a couple months later, you're going to see the inventory that's still sitting on your property. Or better yet, you may see a buck on your property that you didn't see him during the season, but he's already moved back onto the property. So cameras, people use cameras for different reasons. Now, which way to face it, I'm kind of interested in where the deer is coming from, not so much where he's going. If I know where he's coming from, I can get where he's going to go. I can get, where I can position myself. Now, having said that, I'm not a big component of hunting a food plot. And what I mean by that is I don't mind hunting a plot. I'm just not going to sit on the plot. I'm going to get, you bow hunt or gun hunt?
Both.
All right. Well, it doesn't matter either way, but certainly bow hunting, I try to get 100, 200 yards. If you go walk the plot or the field and find where the deer are coming into the food plot. Now, have you hunted this piece of property before, last year?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So you already got an idea where those bucks are coming into the field. Does are coming in bucks, all right? Then what you want to do, especially if he's working a scrape line all around the field, but what you want to do is to get off that field about 100 yards, 200 yards even, and then let those little bucks and those does pass you. If you ask somebody tomorrow and say, hey, what's the first thing comes in a field? You know what they're going to tell you? You're sitting up in a stand and you're in a field, the first thing comes in the field every day is what? Is a general rule. Does.
Doe, probably, yeah.
All right, the next thing comes in the field, if you're sitting there, tends to be your little young bucks. And the reason for it is they ain't got no better sense. Now, if you're sitting there and right at dark, if you're lucky, guess who you see get to walk out in that field? Big boy.
From the big boy.
Now, why? Because the big buck, the mature buck, is timing darkness to the field. So that means if you're sitting on the field, at best, you're going to have to take a shot late in the evening. But if you get off of that trail, off that green field, 100, 200 yards, let them does and those bucks, little young bucks come past you, let them get out there and play in the field. That big buck is going to browse or time darkness past you. He's timing darkness to the field. So when you're 100, 200 yards off, when he comes past you, you got plenty of light to shoot him. But if you don't, you're going to have to take that shot on the field. I'm a big component of hunting the trails off of that food plot than I am sitting on the food plot. Now, unless I'm wanting to shoot a doe, then bust that plot wide open. Every year, of course, I'm down here in Alabama, every year I take 6 does. I can 6 does a year. I can it just like I would beans. And if you've never canned it, man, it's good. It is really good.
All right.
And guys, we need to do that one night on the show. We need to do a canning show. It wouldn't be hard to show them how to do it. And man, it's great. Power goes out, man.
I would like to see that.
Well, look, one of the things you can do is you can just go to the Google, go to YouTube and type in canning deer meat, and you got 100,000 videos showing you how to do it. It is super simple. I mean, super simple, and man, it tastes great. You can make it all kind of ways. It's just like roast beef. Literally, you can open it cold and eat it with a spoon. It's great.
Oh man, yeah, all right.
It is good. But yeah, did that kind of answer your question on the food plot and the cameras?
Yes, it does. Yeah, absolutely. Because like I said, I was, getting off of that field would probably be better than, because I got a stand, but it's about maybe 100 yards off the field. I'm not right on the food plot. Food plot for me is to let them come to it.
Right. They're going to go to the food plot.
I'm not I don't know about 100 yards off of it. I'm not 200. I'm only about 100 yards off in the tree stand.
Yeah. Now look, the 100 yards may be fine. It just depends on the topography, how thick it is. If it's hardwoods or pine thicket or swamp or whatever it is coming to it, and so that depends on how far off you are from it. But the deer's going to the food plot. Now notice, the closer that a deer gets to the food plot, unless it's just a little yearling, even a doe, they're cautious when they get there, just looking before they walk out there. So again, you're obviously going to have a more skittish animal once he hits the plot, because he wants to make sure everything's okay. But if you're further back, they feel like they're in cover, so you still got a better chance of shooting. At least he's not as high alert. He's not as high strung, is a better way of putting it, as he walks out in that big plot.
Oh, okay, I got you. All right, yeah.
So,
Good deal.
And man, we appreciate you calling back in. Keep calling. Tell all your friends up here in Michigan. We're going to be up in Michigan coming up. We're going to be in Camden, Michigan. You know where that is?
Yes, I do. I already looked it up. I already looked on the list. I think it's around maybe an hour. About an hour and 15 minutes away from where I got to come from. Well, I think it's September the 9th, isn't it?
Yeah, September the 8th. And in Camden, Michigan, it's going to be in Guns and More. It's the name of the account. What you ought to do is load your a truckload of people up and come on up there and let me look at you in person.
Absolutely. I plan on it.
All right, we'll do that. And we look forward to meeting you and appreciate you calling in, Aaron. We really do. And that's what this show's for, is to be able to call and ask questions. So we certainly like all the callers that calls in on a regular basis. That makes us feel good, and that's the purpose of the show. So, hey, make plans to come see us in Camden, Michigan.
Oh, yeah, I already got it on my calendar. I already got it wrote down, and I already got a couple buddies of mine. I think I'm going to bring them up with me. They was already talking about it, so we'll be there. And like I say, I'd like to see you in person, too. No problem. Absolutely.
Well, you drop the tailgate and load their butt up. It's going to be September. It'd be nice up there in Michigan. Bring them on up there to us.
Absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely. We'll be on our way.
All right, Aaron. Thank you. Appreciate you calling in.
Yeah, no problem, Don. You have a great day. All right. Like I say, keep doing what you guys are doing, man. 'Cause like I say, I love the show, man. I love the show.
Well, we appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Aaron. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye.
All right, folks. I believe we got us another caller on the line already. I told you it's going to be a busy night. Let's see who we got here. All righty. I got Don Bell. Who we got?
This is Jeremy Kelso.
Mr. Jeremy. Jeremy, where you from? I'm doing good. Where you from?
Republic of Missouri.
Willard, Missouri?
Close enough, yeah. That's where I used to live. I'm right in the middle of a move.
All right. Well, are you from Missouri originally?
Yes.
Great state. Great state for bucks.
State.
What part of the state are you in? Southeast?
We're southwest.
Southwest.
Yeah,
hey.
We bump right up against Springfield.
Oh yeah. Well, listen, doggone it, you just a short distance you can shop, can't you?
Oh yeah.
If nothing else. Well, no, Missouri's got some great bucks, and getting better.
Yes, we do.
And getting better.
Yep.
I mean, good state. Well, look, what kind of question you got for us tonight?
Well, I've got this. I moved to this little 10-acre piece of property that I know nothing about. I'm being told by neighbors that there are deer here, but I'm kind of curious on how I can attract them to a specific spot to see what I've got on my trail cam. I want to instead of trying to track them, I want them to come into a specific spot.
How many acres is it?
It's a 10-acre plot.
Is it?
It's a whole lot of woods.
Are you? What's around it? Are you near town, outside of town?
No, we're outside of town.
Okay. What's around the 10 acres?
I've got a few cow pastures, a few hay fields.
So it's farming.
Got some corn. Got a few cornfields, but they're a little farther away.
Are you bow hunting or gun hunting?
I'll be bow hunting.
Early season, so the corn's still not cut.
Nope.
All right. Well, first of all, the deer is going to be in the standing corn. Is the corn all the way around? Is it hardwood?
Yes.
So really, the way you're describing it, that's the refuge. That 10 acres is a refuge, right? In other words,
it's kind of what I'm thinking. Yeah.
Right. So if you got farm around it, now, you know, right near you, being in Iowa, nothing but corn. What people don't realize is that in Iowa, you know, they got the little wood lots like you're talking about, because everything else is corn. Well, deer live in the corn. They literally are living in the corn till you cut it. Once you cut it, they go to those little wood lots that you're talking about. Do you have any drainage ditches going through the pasture, through the fields?
Well, now that you say that, yeah, just a little bit south of me, there is a drainage ditch.
Yep. All right.
Borders between me and the next person.
Does it go into your 10 acres?
No, it runs right along the fence line of me and him.
Okay, but it's separating the two of you.
Correct.
How far does it run the full length of your 10 acres?
No, sir.
All right, have you got corn on the other side of the drainage ditch?
No, the corn is actually the cornfield is actually kind of northeast of me, across the road.
Okay. What happens is, and it's just not there, it's everywhere. Steve and I, we were up in Illinois last year hunting, and God, this was November, and they still had not cut all the corn. I mean, half the corn was still standing. Well, the deer are in the corn. Right. So what you got to do, of course, there's not always water in the corn, but if there's drainage ditches, there's water in the corn, well, there's no reason to come out of there. But if you got a drainage ditch, is there any water in the 10 acres? Any kind of creek or...
There's a pond on the property behind me.
So they got to come through you to get to the pond.
Correct.
All right. Well, see, that's great. All right. That in it, is that the only water source in and around that property?
Yes.
All right. Well, which is there constant. How far is the lake through the pasture, open pasture, from the 10 acres?
I'd say within 500 yards.
All right. Does that drainage ditch that comes from the northwest, does it run back into that pond?
That's the bad part, no.
Okay. How far from where the drainage turns? I'm assuming that the drainage is coming out of the corn and then it's going out through the pasture.
No, the drainage ditch is actually on the opposite. It's like the corn is northeast of me. The drainage ditch is southwest of me. So the corn and the drainage ditch kind of are not even together. Okay. Well
then, here's what's happening is, I would think, now, you know, we're just talking the night before you and I are going to go hunting. Then, especially bow hunting. So early season, pre-rut, not a lot of pressure, or really should be no pressure. You got standing corn on one end of you. You got a buffer. They're wanting to get to water. So if you got some water on the 10 acres, and if that drainage ditch has any water, that sounds like they still got to come through your 10 to get to the drainage ditch without being exposed. Right?
Correct.
All right. So your transit there. That 10 acres is a transit. I'd find the trails coming out of the corn into the field, and you ought to be able to go on the other side of your 10. If you walk that 10-acre island, you'll be able to see where those deer are coming and going. Especially this time of year right now, you ought to be able to see them going to that pond.
And see, that's kind of the beauty part with this 10 acres is there's around me. I'm really, as far as wooded area, I'm really the only heavily wooded area right here amongst, because I mean, I've still got neighbors that are stone's throw from me on each side, but they've all got more open land than they do woods. And that's what I was looking at. The beauty of this is I've got more wood than open land.
And look, they're going to go to that land when they cut that corn. I'd make sure that when they cut that corn, I'd have me a... Is it hardwood? In other words, if you're sitting in the middle of the 10, can you see the outer edges? Can you see the fields? Or is it too thick to see?
No, it's pretty thick. I'm I'm going to have to do a little trimming. I'm going to hate to, so I don't disturb anything, but I'm going to have to do some. I'm going to have to do a little bit of cleaning.
Season comes in up there in where are you at now? Missouri? What, late September?
Oh, yes.
So you still got. I mean, you ain't got the leaves aren't falling yet. They're going to be falling shortly. So you're going to bow hunt, a couple 2 or 3 weeks there with foliage.
Yeah.
Walk your 10 acres around, see where they're coming in and through there. And first of all, they're still going to do that the opening day of bow season for the first, because there's no pressure on them. And you're not going. It sounds like you're not going to have a lot of pressure anyway, because they're going to be in the corn and nobody else is hunting it. So they're going to come through you, I would think, coming through you to get to water. So they're going to bed in you, but they can bed in the corn till they cut it.
Right.
Dude, when they cut the corn, they're going to be on you. So, I mean, common sense says they're going to have to come to you. Well, look, are we going to be in Missouri? Anywhere in Missouri? Doing seminars?
I think she told me you guys would be in Liberty, and that's a 3.5 hour run from me.
Oh man, I hate that. Well, look, tell the dealer near you. First of all, the dealer that you have near you, do they stock Top Secret?
From what I understand, that we have an Academy Outdoors right here in Springfield, and Shelby told me that that Academy is a dealer of you all. So that excited me because I've not heard of y'all. I've used all of them that I could think of, and there's been a few of them that's worked, but not as well as what I was hoping they would. So I'm going to get to not Cabela's, but Academy, and I'm going to check you guys out because I'm excited of a new deer stand.
Well, let me tell you, if for some reason Academy don't have it, Cabela's has it. They have full end caps everywhere. You can get it online. Bass Pro should have it. Your local sporting goods store should have it. If don't, tell them to call us. We've got 21,537 commercials running. That's 2.5 an hour, 7 days a week, 24/7. Between the Outdoor Channel, Sportsman, Pursuit, and Wild TV. So we're telling everybody about it. Top Secret, you familiar with Code Blue?
Yes.
All right. I started Code Blue. I bottled Tinks for years. And Top Secret...
That's what I normally use is the Tink 69.
Oh, dude.
It seems like
Jeremy,
the past few years it's not been quite as effective.
Listen, here's what I want you to do. Shelby, we need to, why don't you do this, Jeremy, next Thursday night? Why don't you, I'm trying to think of a Thursday night. We need to get Jeremy back on the line. And Jeremy, I want you to remind me that, and I want you to call back in, get with Shelby. She'll put you a date out there to call back. And the reason we want to do that, folks, is because they're giving me the wrap sign, but what Jeremy just asked is a great question. There's a phenomenal difference between a blended urine, which is anything other than Code Blue. Code Blue, my patent on Code Blue is one deer, one bottle. All right. Every bottle's from a different deer. Phenomenally better than Tinks. I used to batch 10 drums a day of Tinks. That's 70,000 bottles a day. Every one of them smells the same. Look, when you open a bottle of deer scent, what color is it?
It's kind of more of a brownish yellow.
That's right. It's because it's ammoniated. It's a blend of aged urine. Dark urine says a deer was there. Clear oxygen-free urine says a deer is there. Even Code Blue, which is the finest the industry's ever seen, when I introduced it, it changed the industry because Code Blue is single urine. But even if you open Code Blue, it is a brown. The reason for it, oxygen is collected with oxygen, therefore it's brown. So when you pour it out, it says, yeah, a deer was there, but he's not there now. Top Secret, it's in a 3-ounce hot sauce bottle. You can't miss it. You can go to topsecretdeerscent.com and see it. It's in a 3-ounce bottle, $14.95 for 3 ounces. It is a clear yellow. It's never seen oxygen. So when you pour it out, it's the first time it's seen oxygen, which means it tells the deer that you're there now, not that you were there. Big difference.
So that big old buck's going to go, woo-hoo!
That big buck knows you're there then. Now look, if you're going to climb up in a tree, realistically in Missouri, and freeze your butt off, don't you want the buck to know you're there while you're there? Not that you were there? Right. It's a simple, it's changing the scent industry. That's the reason we're spending a lot of money on 21,537 commercials, because we know what we got. It's changing the scent industry. It's single urine, no oxygen, and you even have a way afterwards to pump it back out and keep oxygen out after you've opened it. Real neat. Look, I want you to call back in, and or Shelby, you got his number, and she'll give you a buzz and schedule you back, and we'll go over that question and we'll define it more detailed for you.
That'd be awesome.
Hey man, we appreciate it. Listen, Shelby will get back with you, and they're telling me it's past time. We appreciate you calling in, and go tell your dealer if he ain't got it, get it, and he can call. In fact, Shelby can tell him, you can tell your dealer, and we'll make sure the dealer gets some product.
That'd be great.
Hey, appreciate it. Thanks for calling in. We'll talk to you next time.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. Bye-bye. All right, folks, hour and 10 minutes goes by pretty quick. They're going like this. Folks, listen. July 30th, halfway, we're pointing toward fall. Everybody's getting ready. You get ready. How to get ready, call in next Thursday night on Hunting the Rut Hotline. You got questions, we got answers. Hey, don't forget about checking to see where we're coming to a seminar near you. Talk to you next Thursday night.